the natives were put in reservations. Have you ever asked yourself why Ushago was called reserve? Has anyone ever stopped to ask themselves why?
When was the last time somebody was executed in Kenya?
82. It's over 30 years ago.
It was 1987, and his name was Hezekiah Ochuka. It
was 87. That's the person I was thinking of.
82 was when the coup happened.
So 87 he was...
So 87 I think is when he was executed, if I'm not mistaken.
So he was on death row for at least 4 years.
No, he was going through trial. He was also going through trial.
82.
The coup happened in 82.
Yeah, his trial was, I think, the same year.
Yeah, so he was on death row until he was executed.
Yes.
And I think that's the last group of people that was executed.
Yes.
You'll also remember historically, Dedan Kimathi was also executed. Remember that same penal code that executed Dedan Kimathi that we inherited from the British is the same penal code that came to execute
treason.
That came to execute Hezekiah Ochuka.
Yeah.
You know, which tells us that we need to look at some of these laws that we inherited, because they were designed for, you know, like a colonial system.
Yes.
And remember, at that time the British had in their minds that they were gonna live in Kenya forever. That was their plan.
They had come to settle.
Yeah, they were settlers.
Yeah. They were not colonialists.
Yeah.
They were settlers.
They were settlers. You know, like the way when you come to America, and unfortunately, that's just what happened in America. The natives were put in reservations. Have you ever asked yourself why Ushago was called reserve? Has anyone ever stopped to ask themselves why? And Native Americans...
African reserves.
Actually, you used to be...
So your land is taken.
It's taken. Then you're taken to... Especially when the career was declared 52, the emergency...
State of emergency.
Was declared. Yeah. Once it was declared. Now, mnaekwa in concentration camps.
Yes.
Read the book British Gulags in Kenya.
Yes. So that's the reason why, you know, like you'd hear your parents, the man is saying to Nenda reserve. So that's the meaning of it's the same as this reservation.
Slay never had that.
Well, Slay can confirm kama alisikia ma
kusikia hizo.
Yeah, so
she knows Ocha.
So yeah, and
it's interesting. If you guys, again, the Thinking Muslim, the one that you just shared the other day, the gentleman that was about I think colonial, the people who are coming, who are settlers. What happens to the indigenous people?
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's a plan.
It's a plan.
It's a proper plan.
Yes.
Which the Israelis were actually doing progressively on the Gazans. And I think this is supposed to be...
Imegonga ukuta.
Yes, Imegonga
ukuta.
Yeah.
The one that also gonga the ukuta was I believe, the Algeria one.
The Algerian one.
The French were unable to carry
the French had occupied... The reason why there's so much hope with Gaza is because the French occupied Algeria for 132 years.
And they still did not manage to manage.
And in fact, they had already designated Algeria as a French province. Yeah. So these games of these European games, they go by a certain playbook.
Those guys who are escaping, the guys who are escaping persecution and whatever from Brito when they came over here.
The Quakers
and all that other guys. Yeah. What did they do?
No, see, you know, Brito was actually what actually happened was that there was something called the right of the firstborn. So it was only the firstborn sons who could inherit their father's wealth, and those lords had to go to the king and complain and tell him like, "Yo, we have other sons, and they cannot just be tradesmen, salesmen, policemen. Like we have to figure out a way." So the other sons are the ones who were being given lands into the colonies, and the first slaves were actually white people from jela prisons. The ones who are
indentured servants.
They're called indentured servants. Yeah, those were called indentured servants.
So it's the U.S., the colonies, the U.S., the West Indies, Australia. Those are the first colonies that the British got, and the Europeans got, and then they expanded to that. So this is not something that started with Africa. It's something that they had perfected when they came to Africa.
But remember...
And that's why they were giving those settler colonies easily.
But remember, even before, you know, like they went to these other places, they had already coerced, or maybe it was around the same time, they had already coerced the Scots and the Irish and the Welsh. That's why people from those countries, they don't like they don't like Britain. They don't like that United Kingdom because that's where they practiced before they went their forces in other parts of the world,
like India.
Yes, India and so many other parts of the world. Esther Mulusa says the death penalty is de jure, but it's not de facto. So Esther,
so please, for some of us who don't comprende que pasa andre arriba de jure dio ineki ora how de facto.
Yes,
na kwanza brother yako ti Omosh Nerarigo anashindwa unasema nini? So please,
Omosh is having trouble with misconception.
Thank you.
So de facto na de jure you make.
I never saw those things in Presidu. Those things are not in Presidu.
Okay, all right. So and then Pablo says death penalty sentence is still the law. However, in essence, this translates to life imprisonment without parole. Discussions are still going to amend the death penalty law.
You know, Esther Mulusa is not really helping.
Yeah, Slay is saying I'm learning today. And then Esther Nasema progodition. The law
primogeniture.
Okay. Me read progodition. The law of the first son. This is Latin, because I think a lot of these laws were there's those, because remember during these cases for elections, when those lawyers they unleash Latin everywhere. Amicus curiae. Yeah, friend of the court. At least that one I know.
So a Kikuyu would say curiae is more like amicus nisiolire.
Yeah, okay.
Zilipotea. Siolire.
Okay.
Curiae.
Haya.
You guys are good school. Si shule zenyu zilikuwa na nini? Ma teams. Kwa baji yenyu.
Yeah, I know.
Sijui
nihil praetor optimum.
Na yenyu ilikuwa
yawa ilikuwa ni milele na milele.